What you got going on tonight, man? Larry, what we up here for?
Radio interview.
What that is?
89.3. It's the book, man. First radio interview covering this book.
Okay.
So we out here. Time to get it cracking, get it done.
Okay. Where can we find the book at?
You can find Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, Arthur House, Curious Productions. You know, look it up. Larry and Brooks, 96.
Alright, man. We about to interview Cali Karma, who I feel is a talented MC, you know what I'm saying, representing New York, but he's in Atlanta, so he does all the different styles, you know what I'm saying. Make sure y'all check out that new mixtape, it's real dope. I finally got the chance to listen to it, man. It sounds real well-rounded.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
I don't know if you read what I wrote about it.
Yeah, yo, they said we're going crazy. Like that's the best.
Yeah, because actually, man, show that you can do. It showed that you can do the club stuff, but not. It's the same thing about Sahara we were just talking about. Like, you know, showing that you can do the club stuff and still get lyrical with niggas. Like, okay, well, I got what? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like,
but I can still keep it together.
You know, you can box with them.
Yeah. Hey, actually, man, I got a couple joints clean, but you got more joints clean?
So what you up here for, my nigga?
Oh man, I'm up here supporting my partner, man, Larry Brooks, man. Book 96, cross promotion, you know, chilling with my man QP. I got my copy right now. I'm waiting on the autograph right now, you know. Yeah. So everybody out there in the digital land, make sure y'all go get this. This is some street ethics, some street knowledge right here, man.
With the honey, you know what I mean? Yeah, cut a script so bad, trying to drive me insane, man. Say what, Slick? I need some. I need some. I need some. I need
Great book, man. Great book.
Yes, you're listening to the Beats and Lyrics Show. Yours truly, JayForce. What you just heard was some brand new Slick Rick produced by DJ Premier. Name of the joint is called Need Some Bad. That's going to be on that new movie. What's the name of that movie, man? About the parent, the babysitter or something like that or whatever. But I forget the name of the movie, man. Anyway, DJ Premier and Slick Rick link up for the very first time right there on that track. And then before that was some brand new Common called Celebrate off of his new album. In fact, that's going to be the next single. But ladies and gentlemen, in the studio with me right now, you know what I'm saying, representing Texas, the big state of Texas, we got my man, writer and director, you know what I'm saying, Larry Brooks in the studio right now. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up one time. Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What's going
Appreciate
on,
you having
man?
me on, brother. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming through. What's
All
going on,
yes,
Mr. Brooks?
Yes, sir. As you know, man, I'm bringing light to this new book I just got in the mix, man. 96. Okay. The reason the book is a story about pretty much it's a real life story. It's part of my biography, but it's more of a book of parables. The thing about young black men, what I find is we always try to reinvent the wheel. It's like you never know, the generation before you doesn't leave you anything. Like, so you never know which direction you want to go is out here. Everything you do, you recreating it as you go. And I was always wondering about my legacy as far as my kids. Like if anything happened to me, what would they have to look back on? Like, how would I get my message to my sons and my nephews? So I started, you know, go ahead, bro, I'm sorry.
I mean, like, not to cut you off, though, because, I mean, I know you, Larry, and from Texas, man. You were a brother that was involved in some things in Texas, changed your life around a lot of ways, man. Now you're an author and stuff like that. Tell us a little bit about your upbringing and everything, man, in Texas. You know, the little bit of the trials and tribulations coming from Texas, and also making that transition to being an author and getting to this point, actually writing your new book, 96.
Okay, man, that's great. I'm glad you led me there. Coming up in Texas, I'm from the country. And that's a lot of that's an avenue I don't see a lot of people go down as far as when they write. And you hear the stories about New York and Chicago and Cali, but you never hear about the underworld of Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi, Georgia.
Right.
And it is we have our own lifestyle and way of looking at things, and I wanted to get into that lane because I didn't see that lane being touched.
Right.
And especially with books, you know, it took us a long time to get into the music game, and I think we're slow on as far as the books. And I just wanted to stay in that lane and write about what we see down here and give our experience the same as the music. You know, we want to express ourselves because we got a voice too that's not being heard.
Right.
And with the fact that a lot of people don't just, you know, I feel like they don't read. It's not that they don't want to read.
Right.
It's nothing for us to read.
Right.
So there's a great need for young black authors as myself, you know, male and female, to jump out there and give these young folks something that can catch their attention instead of, you know, going with the wind ain't gonna do it.
Right.
You know,
and
You gotta relate to our experiences.
Yeah, you see a lot more brothers and sisters actually getting involved, like with writing books, like people that you would never expect, like Prodigy of Mobb Deep wrote a book, and he said he did all the editing himself, and you just see a lot more cats writing books. I mean, there's you know, a lot of people out of Baltimore that are doing the street novels and stuff like that. Man, tell us a little bit about. I mean, I know the book you said is loosely based on your life, and some things you experienced, and some things the names have been changed just to kind of protect the guilty or the innocent, whatever. How you want to put it, man.
The weak.
How does the book basically unfold in general, without giving up too much of the book, man, which is in stores now, and also they can contact you how to get
Amazon,
that. And it's on Barnes & Noble and Amazon, man. Tell us a little bit about what the book about, how it unfolds a little bit without giving us too much before anybody who does read the book.
All right, well, the book, it basically takes a journey from a 12-year-old to a 17-year-old.
Right.
And those, I feel like that was the period of my life where I was most vulnerable.
Right.
And I was a sponge, so everything around me, I was soaking it up. And if nobody's there to kind of guide you, you kind of run loose.
Right.
And like I said, that's the whole purpose of the book. I wanted to capture the person who's reading it and show them you're going to get faced with all these different trials and tribulations, and how you stand up next to them is what's going to make you a person, what's going to make you a man, a coward, a hero, or a fool.
So the main character in the book, what are some of the things that he does kind of delve into, and
that
he does eventually saves himself from and makes the turnaround?
All right, well, the book deals with, you know, I try to hit every, as far as the system, as far as the court system, and dealing as a young black man, how you can get caught up in the court system, how you can get caught up in gangs, how you can get caught up in hand-to-hand crack sales, carjacking, just street fights, anything like, and I don't try to over-exaggerate any situation. It's real-life situations that young men have to deal with. When you hear me say gangs and carjacking, and to be honest with you, most black males coming up today in the last 20 years when I came up, this is stuff we have to face.
Right.
And if nobody's telling you, if you don't have a man in your house telling you this is coming and this is what you're going to deal with, then you just have to reinvent the wheel again.
Right.
And that's what I wanted to do in the book, like show, oh, hey man, here, look, I went through the same thing. Here's how I handled it. You can handle it your way, but here's a little bit of advice, you know, because you know, you just gotta be honest. We don't have a lot of males in the household today. We have a lot of music in the household, and some of this stuff is going left. Right. So I wanted to push something going right a little bit to like kind of balance this out.
So that's the reason why the name of the book is called 96, because it delves from those years, those impressionable wonder years up until that point.
Until 90. And 96 has a lot of reasons to it. 96.
Because it's a key year for Atlanta. Like, you know, that's a relation, because 96 was a key year for Atlanta. If you grew up in the South, in Atlanta, for example, or outside of that, and you know, and just like you said earlier, it was also a key period for the South coming up in music aspect.
Exactly, and that's exactly why in the book I touch on that. I touch on the music of the time. I try to give you a feel for that. That time period. Actually, I try to put a little history in here as well. I'm gonna touch Tupac and Tila and Master P, because that's the music I was listening to down south. And also, the 96 is the year 96, and 96 is yin and yang. You know, the 9 and the 6, and trying to bring a little balance. And that's what you know, and that's basically where I get the title from. The year 96 and 9 and 6 are going against each other. A lot of things were tugging me left and right, and I was trying to, as a man, just stay in the middle.
Right.
I didn't want to go too far in either direction, bad or good, and just trying to maintain balance. And that's what I speak on a lot in the book.
What was that epiphany point where you said, what was that point in your life where you said, you know what, I'm just going to write. I'm going to be a writer now. I want to be a writer now. I want to be an author. Because think about it, like there's a lot of people listening. We got a lot of, you know, you may not know, but we have a lot of brothers that's listening in the Atlanta Federal Penitentiary that listen to us like every week. You know, we get
Right.
I get letters from cats, you know, and stuff like that, man. You know, this a lot of
shout out
cats
to my
growing up
brothers
listening
locked down.
home. There's a lot of brothers listening at home, like, man, he's in Barnes and Nobles, he's in Amazon. How did that happen? How did this all come together? And tell us a little bit about how you put this together. Because this is your first book, right? Because I know you directed like some short films
and
stuff
whatnot.
like that.
Yeah, at streetethics.com you can find the short films. But this book actually came about. I was at a point in my life where I had hit a wall. I was going through some things. I had, you know, lost a house, lost a car, lost a lot of friends, lost a lot of money, and I was praying. And my father, he's a minister. So me and him sat up one night and we actually had a prayer session. He was trying to just pray me out of my bad feeling.
Was your father like in your household?
Not growing up really.
Okay.
But you know, as I got older, he started getting back into my life as a man. He's a great mentor as a man, but he wasn't there when I was young. I'm not gonna lie.
Is he still in Texas?
Yeah, he's still in Texas. He's still in Liberty, Texas. That's where I'm from, Liberty, Texas. But that night after me and my father had that prayer, he prayed on me. And I'm not the most religious person. I'm spiritual, but I can't lie to you and tell you I'm this or that.
Right.
But he prayed with me, and the morning when I woke up, like the book was wrote. All I had to do was put that pen to the paper, and that's why people say, "Hey man, you wrote that book so fast." Right. And to be honest, like that book was just like God spoke to me that night, and when I woke up, I started writing. I never stopped till I finished. I wrote every day, you know, until the product was finished, and I ain't like it. I wrote it again. I never stopped. I wrote the book 4 times actually.
So you wrote it overnight, and then over a period of time, you had a lot of different revisions?
No, the book was in my head.
Oh, I got you.
It was wrote, like I didn't really have to think on it. I had to make nothing up. I never hit, you know how people say they get writer's block?
Right.
When I sat in front of the computer or the pen and paper, like words just came down.
Right.
And it was no stop. I never hit no wall.
Right.
You know, I just wrote it and then finished. But that's basically how that came about. Just, I prayed hard one night and woke up the next day with a book, and it brought me out of my dark spot, and hopefully it could do that for some other folks, man. Indeed,
man. Yo, man, any plans to also like go to like some high schools and some elementary schools, talk about this book, man, and anything like that? Because I know that my sister is like a teacher in Philly, and I know she does a lot of things sometimes where they introduce books to a lot of the kids in the city and stuff like that, man. You know,
the charter school we're looking at now.
Yeah. Now you say that everybody who has read this book has said that, and that was what I wanted, because I was writing this book to like, when I wrote it, I was like, man, this is what I want to hand my son. If I'm not here, say I get in a car wreck, and that's what I told my friends. Say, man, if anything happened to me, make sure my kids get this manuscript, a book, whatever it is, because this is me. This is what I want them to know. And with that being said, everybody who has read it has came back to me and said, man, I gotta either get a copy to my son, or man, you should give a copy to some kids in high school. And that's just how it's coming across, and it's a blessing because that's what I felt like I was trying to do, and it's actually coming across exactly how God gave it to me.
No doubt. Like being that we're moving into like kind of electronic media, you know, you see like a lot of people putting stuff on Kindle and downloading books from iTunes.
Available.
Is your book also available on iTunes and stuff like that?
Amazon.com. You type in Larry M. Brooks 96. It'll pull up for the Kindle. You go to that's Amazon. You go to Barnes and Noble, and it's for the Nook right there. It's $3.19 to download. You know, if you don't, you know. It's a little costly for the paperback. It's $16.95, but for Kindle, okay. Well, yeah, the Kindle is on there. It's on point.
Yeah, I was just. It's okay. Yeah, we're a community station. We can't talk about prices, but like the thing is,
that.
Yeah, it's all good, man. I probably should have prepped you about that
Yeah,
first. But I was thinking about the next question about to ask you, which now is starting to lead me, which I was trying to get back to. But like one of the things, there was a question I was just about to ask you. Being that this is also your first book, of course you did a lot of short films and everything, man. I've seen some of your short films and everything like that you put together, and some of the pre-stuff.
Right, see that on YouTube. And we got Blood in My Mouth. That was the first one I did, and it actually stemmed from this book.
Right.
Is that what you was getting at?
Yeah, the Blood in My Mouth joint.
Yeah, the Blood in My Mouth joint. Actually, we did a short film. Me, Fernando George, Curious Production, Rick with Dukes DeVille, he was in the movie.
QP in the building.
QP. Yeah, what happened was we was actually on our way to Rick's video shoot.
Yeah.
Right.
And we was in the car with the guy who was gonna shoot the video, and I was speaking philosophy to him. We started talking about Aristotle and Buddha, and we was talking on the middle ground, and you know, conversation got in deep, and then I started telling him, hey, I'm working on a book, and I'm trying to put some of that middle ground philosophy into the book. And he was like, man, I want to shoot a movie.
Well,
so
That's actually kind of not how it happened, but how it happened.
That's how it happened to be.
That's how it happened. Now,
Yeah.
you actually, before we left the studio, you was talking to us about...
Yourself, man.
My bad. My name's Fernando from Curious Productions. I represent QP.
Okay.
But actually, Larry, you told us that you actually wanted to shoot a movie prior to leaving. You know what I mean?
Okay, I did.
During conversation, you was chopping it up with me. You know what I mean?
That is correct.
And you said you wanted to go ahead and get that done. And as we got in the car, it started coming together because we actually wrote the movie off the book 96. So Blood in My Mouth is just a spin-off of the book 96. So
yeah, the movie
that's how it
spin off
kinda
from
started.
a chapter. And I sent the guy. He is correct. You know, we was one of them days we was feeling right. But the movie spin off from the book. And I sent the guy a chapter in the book, and he liked it. So hey, we started shooting the film on it, and that's Blood in My Mouth. It's out there.
Right.
Yeah. Shout out to KB for doing the film work, man. Shout out to QP and of course Street Ethics for doing the production on the movie. Appreciate
There's
it.
a lot of things nowadays, man, with like doing video work, man. It's like you could get like a really crazy quality, you know, with the camera work. The prices of cameras coming down, the quality's getting a lot higher. You know, do you have any plans for like making, you know, 96 in its entirety into something, or you kind of moving on to something next?
I'm in work on writing another book, but as far as shooting a movie, like it's kind of intimidating on this book because
like an independent film.
Yeah, the book is.
The book is based on your life, so that's part of the intimidation.
No, because the book it goes from 12 to 17 and touches so many topics. It's like I would love to have it made into a film, but is it too big for me? You know, I'm honest with myself as far as me as a film producer. Like I could do a chapter in the book, but doing this whole book, that would be a big job. And if somebody comes up to me and you know and they have the resources to get it done, then we're gonna get it done.
All right, indeed. You know, did you like when you did put this book together and everything? Did you have any assistance with anybody, man? Like with the grammar issues or anything
with
like
the grammar? Yeah. Well, as far as grammar, I wrote it. It's two styles in this book. I mix.
Because I know some of it is.
Yeah.
It's stuff that I can comprehend, but then there's stuff like, you know, where you wonder if you were using an editor at some
Nah,
place.
that's me. I have a degree in philosophy, man.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And I have a degree in network engineering.
I'm gonna start saying,
nah, I'm not
doctor.
afraid. Yeah, I ain't gonna pretend like I'm no fool now. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm I'm just saying.
I'm not trying to say you're not, bro. I'm trying to set it up.
Don't bug money.
It's two styles I wrote the book in.
Right.
And I you know, it's public radio, but I can say sober, right? So one style is sober, and that's more when you get the philosophy and me being more student on it, you know, more the education I have. I wrote with that. I didn't try to leave that out of the book. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm something I'm not. I'm not gonna dumb myself down. That's one thing about this book. I'm not dumbing it down for you.
Thank you.
But I'm gonna keep it.
And that's kind of what I was getting. That's where I was kind of getting at for a guy who lived a storied life as yourself.
Right. That's
you know what I mean. You know how did that go? Right.
Like I was always, you know, in the classroom I was quiet, but you know I was a natural as far as school. That would enable me to write a book. But also when the lights went off and it got dark, then I got dark too. And so I mixed both sides of that. You know, you don't have to be one thing.
Right.
Like people always, you know, if somebody know me from the street, they'll be amazed at how far I can go with my other side, and vice versa. Right. You know, it's just, you know, that's part of being a man. You don't have to limit yourself to one thing. You know, I'm not ashamed of being intelligent, and I'm not gonna pretend. And this book shows that. You know, and that's something black men need to start waking up to, man. Being afraid of being smart ain't the smartest thing out here.
Smart is the new gangster, bro.
Well, that's a quote right there.
Exactly.
We got my man Larry Brooks in the studio, man. He got the new book 96, man. Yo, 96. Man, once again, tell them how they can cop that and any other things you want to leave the people with, fam.
All right, man. It's 96 is the book. Larry M. Brooks is the name. You can find it Barnes & Noble, Amazon.com. Put my name in there. Put 96 in there. If you got a Nook, Cranny, or whatever else, E2, you can download it for the Lowski. You know, if you short on paper, then they got something for you. But we got website, streetethic.com. We got QP Productions in the house, you know.
What's your Twitter and what's your Facebook, man?
Twitter, streetethics.com. Facebook for family, leave me alone. We got Rick James with Dukes and DeVille on here. You look him up. You know, our team is strong.
He walked up in the studio, man, for a second. You know, maybe because I need glasses, but for a second I thought it was Stickman from TV. Like, yo,
man,
shout out to the Teen Outlaws, man. Shout out to the Laws and Stormy Coleman and all them boys. Stickman, Dead Fred.
Brother, shout out to you, man. Like I always tell you, man, you one of the most humble and sincere brothers I know. You know, every time I meet you, you come across the same way. You know, like I always tell you, like 3 years ago, I was in the club and I saw you, and it was just like it just overwhelmed me. I'm like, look at my man, like he just like you had so much power in you, and people were just like, you don't do no extra. You stay, you know. you stay where you in your lane. You don't try to be extra, man. I really appreciate brothers like you out here, man. And I appreciate you having me on.
Hey, man, I appreciate you for what you're doing, man. There's a lot of brothers that need that right now, especially what's going on in the schools, man. I'll say definitely, man, hit them schools, man. A lot of people need to read your book.
Yes, sir. I'm going to do my best. We're going to get out here. We working this year.
Larry Brooks, 96, ladies and gentlemen. Beats and Lyrics Show. Yours truly, JayForce, man. We about to go back with some more joints. This is official last show of the year, man. And then the next show we're going to do is going to be the best of 2011. And let me go to some more music, man. Let's get to, speaking of positivity like that, man, let's go into this joint. This is a perfect song after speaking with Mr. Larry Brooks. The name of the song is called Fix Up by Black Star right here off of their new album that's coming out in 2012. If y'all want to holler at Larry, call up right now, 404-523-8989. Beats and Lyrics. Let's go.
Jackson, fix up, what's up, yo, I was all me and mine involved, a lot of
Jay, what's your info, man? Go on, shout out to
96 gonna be that year.
Alright.
Exactly. You already know. Yours truly, JayForce, the man Larry Brooks. Got a book that you need to read. A lot of young black men that need a little guidance. Or just a person of ethnicity, see, or all around the world. You need to check this book right here, man. It's called 96, man. You know what I'm saying? Get in the minds. This is yourself right here. Make sure y'all check it out.